The once indecipherable glyphs now feel dangerously familiar, promising unholy power to those who can take it. As you pass the strange glyphs, you can feel the book resisting, but your will is iron, and you brush past these shades of the past, devouring every secret the book has to offer. You see now life and death are malleable as clay, to be bent and reshaped by your will, by your power. But as you close the book, a nagging doubt whispers in your mind. What consequences will there be for calling the dead from their rest?
Furious! Frankly, I'm puzzled.
Oh! What's an issue of doing Some people have no respect for literature. Into the bin where it belongs.
The Annals of Karsus. To a civilization's downfall, committed to parchment by the very hand that wrought its destruction. If the crown atop the Elder Brain was truly forged by Karsus himself, this book will confirm it. All we have to do is turn the page.
Oh, sing the song of Baldur, who founded Baldur's Gate.
That devil Raphael was telling the truth. There's no doubt. The crown of Karsus is what's controlling the Elder Brain. And this is no mere journal. It contains Karsus's original plans for the crown's construction. His designs for godhood. Gods have ascended through far stranger means. The book states that the crown and netherstones were originally one construct. See, if we can collect the crown's setting and the 3 netherstones, and with the correct invocation of certain spells and gestures detailed in these notes, I think I could reforge it to every end you can imagine. Just think of it. The power of the gods in mortal hands at last would be free of doctrine and dogma, confined only by the limits of our imaginations. I promise you, the gods will never grant us such a blessing, no matter how much we worship and adore them. I don't know. Ao does not look kindly on gods meddling in mortal affairs. She may have no choice but to stand by and let events unfold. Even with the fate of the world at stake, she had little more to offer me than the means of blowing myself up at a more convenient time. She's done nothing to help us. Mistra wanted the brain obliterated because of this crown. She fears a world in which such power is beyond her control, ready to be claimed by Karsus's successor. Perhaps they deserve to be challenged. Perhaps you and I... Ambition is not a sin. To question the powers that rule us is not treason. We must at least try. Why wallow in the dirt when we can reach for the stars? I didn't mean that as a slight. I cherish our adventures, but even if we prevail, you must know the end is in sight, mustn't you? I see. I suppose I am asking you to spend so long feeling... Perhaps I got carried away with the thought this crown could give me back what Mistra took. Cure me, even. You're right. Whatever comes of this, we cannot allow the crown to be reforged in Raphael's image. A devil wielding the might of Carsus. It would be the... Elminster?
Oh, hello, my boy. No, don't mind me. I'm just enjoying I hear you've been browsing in the most esteemed of emporiums, sorcerous sundries. Indulge my curiosity. What wonders did you discover there?
Perhaps it would have been better to keep that particular opportunity between ourselves.
The crown of Carsus? No, Gale. It's for the best that I know. I trust there's no need to remind you what came of Carsus. His folly humbled a whole civilization. No one seeks an encore of that. Does she speak true, Gale? You, Mistra, knows you defied her, Gale. She bids you come to her holy shrine in the Stormshore Tabernacle. There, she will grant you an audience at last. Not true. Not even close. Mistress Wit, though... Some mortals, the crown is not the... If you will not hear it from me, hear it from your goddess.
So all it took to get Mistra's attention was to learn how to reforge an art. It's obvious when you stop to think about it. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. For now, Mistra knows I've read Carsus's designs. I'm certain of that. This is a conversation that's long overdue on both sides. I owe it to her to hear her out. Come what may afterwards. Mistra's many things, but she's no censor. Her job is not to judge those who use the word. Whatever she has to say, I want to hear it. Always a pleasure to share a moment with you, if not in the way I once envisioned. What do you need of me? I've often asked myself the same question. You clearly see something in me that I can't. The wisdom and intelligence, I take it as a compliment either way. You don't get to be 13 centuries old without becoming a sound judge of character. And cheese, apparently. Of course.
boots have seen everything.
I am fury. I am death. On the move.
blood it shall have to be.
Is growing in power.
There she stands, just as Elminster promised. Mistra, goddess of the weave, mother of all magic.
The old man wasn't lying. She's opened the summoning channel. Can't you feel it?
Gale's right. The very air around the statue crackles with magic. It sets your teeth on edge.
A stream of pure, undiluted weave. I only have to reach out, and it will carry me to Mistra, wherever she may be.
Your goddess calls. Serve her or denounce her as you will, but you cannot ignore her.
Time was, I'd have given my right arm for a chance to speak with Mistra again. The left one, too. Maybe a knee. Am I? You're right. I am a strong, my omnipotent, omniscient ex-lover. I always wonder what being nervous would feel like. I hate it. You're kind to say so, but this is hardly my first time in Mistra's presence. It's more the matter of what I'm going to say to her. During my time locked away in Waterdeep, I prepared a quite comprehensive speech for her on the subject of our former relationship and the manner in which it ended. Alas, recent events have rendered the majority of it moot, so I'm going to have to improvise. Unless you have any words of wisdom to impart before I go. The summoning channel Mistra has provided is one only I can enter. No matter how much I prefer not to face her alone. It's one thing for us to actually pursue the crown. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's best I keep a cool head going into this. Approach it like a particularly high-risk round of 3 dragon ante. I'll let Mistra show her flight, and then I can see how strong a chance we stand of winning the gambit. I'll only be gone for a matter of moments. The outer planes experience time. Wait for me. Please.
Gale of Waterdeep, you look well.
As do you. But I assume we're not here solely to exchange compliments. So why am I here?
You discovered what lies at the heart of the Absolute, the crown of Karsus. And you disobeyed my instruction. Why?
Because you had no right to ask that of me. You cast me out. Remember?
You were my lover, my chosen. Yet still you know so little of me. The past cannot be undone with self-pity, nor can a future be forged. Only with the truth will you see the way ahead. The fragment of magic you tried to return to me was not of my creation. It was the Karsite Weave. It is a corrupted, half-born magic, wrought in the brief moment Karsus ascended to godhood. It hungers for power, just as he did, and it can never be sated. You unleashed something that would consume all magic in existence, and yet you thought only of preserving yourself.
So that's what you're scared of. With the crown of Karsus reforged, I could take control of the Karsite Weave.
You can no more control the Karsite Weave than a weather vane could control a storm. That it entered your body and consumed no more than your powers was a miracle. But we will not be granted another. The only reason the orb sleeps is because I have allowed it to feed on the true weave. A temporary measure, but one that will not be enough to save us. With each day that passes, the Elder Brain threatens to become a new kind of god. Its worshippers, a scourge of soulless illithids. If you will not use the orb to end this abomination, then you must find a way to separate crown and host. When you've done this, you must surrender the crown of Karsus to me.
A great ask indeed. You've given me much to think on, as you always did.
So be it. Follow the needle of your own wisdom. We shall see how truly it leads you.
Back on mortal soil once more. I can't believe I saw her. After all this time. Relieved. Drained. Proud of myself as if it wasn't enough to have seen her again. She didn't exactly summon me there for small talk. The Karsite Weave. Within me this whole time. I knew the orb was no ordinary ball of magic before it to be Karsus's malignant creation. Gods! How did I not see that? But I should have known. What right had I to go about declaring myself an archmage when I was as foolish as a common apprentice in setting such an entity loose? At least now I'm armed with the truth. And Mistra's expectations. Sounds like the door to redemption is open at last. All I have to do is walk through it, carrying the crown of Karsus. Were I a more superstitious man, I confess I'd be inclined to see a certain divine destiny. Think about it. The crown of Karsus, the Netherstones, the Karsite Weave. No more than a tadpole's breadth from being reunited. What if this is my chance? I'd be a fool not to take it. Well then. All we need to do is stay focused on the task at hand. Defeating